Hi everyone, it's Jackie. Here to share with you the tutorial on how to make the pages and the cover for my Graphic 45 season album. Um, I did make 4 albums total, for one for each season, so I did want to show you how I made my albums. You can adapt this to any size you want. But because I wanted to make 4 smaller ones and I had the limited papers, this is what I came up with. So you are going to need to start with 3 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock, and of course I'm using the black artesian cardstock from countrycraftcreations.com. And what you want to do is you want to cut the one piece at 11.5 inches. So you want one piece by 12 by 11.5 inches. Then you want to cut on the 12-inch side. You want to take your paper and you want to cut so that, say this is 11.5 inches, and you're going to cut straight down the middle at 6. So you're going to have 2 pieces that are 6 by 11.5, and that's what so that's going to give you 2 pages. Now you want to cut the same thing for your next, on your next page. You only need 3 large pages at 6 by 11.5. So go ahead and cut your next 12 by 12 in half at 6 inches, and then cut that 6 inches down to 11.5. So you have a 6 by 11.5 sheet. So those are your 3 big pages. Now for the little pages, which I'll get to here shortly, you are going to use the rest of that other half that you just cut, and then you're going to need, I use scraps. I went and found, I keep scraps, all my scraps, so I just went and found some scraps for my belly band. So I'm kind of jumping ahead, but that's all the paper you're going to need for your pages. So to start with, you've got your one sheet, 6 by 11.5. You're going to score it at 5.5, and you're going to score it at 11. Okay. Let's do the next one. Now, I did score mine ahead of time because I was making all 4, and I thought, what a dummy. I should have waited until I was filming this, but I thought, well, I can do it. So, my second sheet is 6 by 11.5, scoring it at 5.5 and at 11. Okay. And then your third sheet, again, you want to score it at 5.5 and then at 11. Okay. Now, on the sheet that the other half, which is 6 by 12, you want to trim that sheet to 5.5 by, no, I'm sorry, 6. Wait, let me stop here. Trim your paper to 6 by 11.5. And what you want to do is you're going to cut a piece that is 4 inches by 11.5. So you need 3 of these, 4 by 11.5. And you're going to score these at 5.5 and at 11 as well. So you want 3 of those. Alright, so let's go ahead and now get my art glue to glue here, and we're going to go ahead and so you want to go ahead and burnish your folds. So you've got your 1/2 inch here, so it now becomes 5.5 by 6. Okay, and then fold this one here, so you've got 6 and then 5.5. I'm going to add my glue. Match my ends up together. Finish down. And there's my first page. So this side is going to be my for my hinge, and this side is going to be an extra pocket for tags if you want to use use it for tags. Now in my mini albums, I did not add the side tags because I did run out of paper, but I plan on adding them when I get some more paper in. So there's your first page. Go ahead and let's do the second page. Burnish your score lines. So you're going to end up with a 6 by 5.5. And then you just want to take glue to the flap here. And you can use your score tape or whatever adhesive that you're comfortable with. I swear by the Art Glitter Glue, and Tamara sells it in her Country Craft Creation store. And I'm telling you, once you use it, you're hooked. So, and I was never a glue person. Never. Never, never. Didn't like the way it looked. To me, it didn't hold well. And this stuff is just, it's awesome. It's a miracle in a bottle. So, go ahead and match up your ends. Okay, so there's our 3 pages. Now let's get your 4 by 11.5, and again, burnish your seams, your score lines, fold them over, burnish them real good, and you're going to create this page the same way as the other one. Just add your glue up here in your 1/2-inch flap, match your edges. Okay. Now I didn't miter these corners at all. You can if you want. I didn't, and it still worked out good. Normally I do, but on this one I just didn't do it. Okay, so, and this one I believe, yeah, I've already got that one good. Okay, so here's your pages. So if you remember, you're going to have a 4 by 5.5, a 6 by 5.5, a 4 by 5.5, 6 by 5.5, another 4 by 4.5, or 5.5, sorry, and a 6 by 5.5. So there's your 6 pages. Okay, now take your bigger pages, your 6 by 5.5, and I'm going to put those those other 3 aside. And like I said, I just use scraps, and I cut these at 1.5 by 7 inches, okay, to make my belly bands. So I'm going to score these at 1/2 inch on each side. So my belly band's going to be 6 inches wide after I score them. So just go ahead and score them. Half an inch on each side. Again, 1.5 by 7, and you're going to need 6 of them. 1 for each side of your larger page. So 1/2 inch there, 1/2 inch here. And if you had a great way to use up your scraps, because I don't know about you, but I know I save all my scraps that I think I can use again. And they come in handy sometimes. Sometimes I just collect a bunch of scraps. So, okay, let's go ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and burnish all these. Fold these 4 lines over. Burnish them down. I just find it's easier for me to get them all done at once. Okay. So I have all 6 of mine scored and burnished. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove this one just because it's easier for me to work off of this. So get my 3-inch, or my 3-inch, my 6 by 5.5. And again, this is your hinge side and this is your tag side. So I just line it up on here. So I match it up at the bottom. Add glue to my first belly band. And bring it, just set it right there at the 1-inch mark. So my bottom piece is just sitting at the 1-inch mark. And I do it on both sides so that way it matches up perfectly and I know it's straight. Now you can eyeball it, and I tried that with these, but I don't do too well with eyeballing it when it's a belly band for some reason. Okay, flip it over, and again, do the same thing on the other side. So make sure when you flip it over, your belly band's down at the bottom. Put this on. Grab you another belly band. Just match it up again at that 1-inch mark. And this one over here. Make sure it's down. Okay. It's our first one. Let's do our second one. Right there at the 1-inch. So every one of my pages are going to be exactly the same, very uniform throughout this whole album, which I like, except I don't think I folded that one over right. I guess I did. You see what I mean? I put it on there crooked. Alright. That is not right. For some reason, it did not fold right. This must be a little bit longer than I want it. Let me see if I can go ahead and refold it down. I guess I folded it, when I folded it over, and I must have did it crooked because it just wasn't going to sit right, edge to edge. Alright, that's better. Alright. Because you want your belly band edge to edge. You don't want it overlapping. And that's what that one was doing, was overlapping. Okay, I'm going to flip it right over. And do the back side. Matching edge to edge. There's our second one. And our last one. Line it up. 1-inch. 1-inch. Flip it over. One inch. My nose is just okay. Okay, we're done. So there's our 6 pages. All right. So let's go ahead and let's do our what do I want to call it? Okay, my mind went blank. Oh my goodness gracious. I have just totally went blank on it. Okay, my chipboard, my spine, and this is what's going to go on. My pages are going to hook onto my hinges. Hinges, that's what I'm looking for. Oh, it's been a long, crazy week. And not to mention, I'm sure some of you seen my Facebook posts. I stubbed my foot against the vacuum cleaner about, well, it's 11 days ago. And so, of course, it swelled up. It turned black and blue. And I just thought, it was just my baby toe. So, not much you can do with it. Well, I walked on it, went to work every day, and I just couldn't take the pain anymore. So I went to the doctor's yesterday. Well, yeah, I broke 3 toes. And then because of walking on it, he's pretty sure that I had a little bit of fracture that I just irritated and made worse. So now I'm in a boot. So I'm just like out of it today. Walking around with this big old bulky thing on one leg, it just has me all off balance. Okay, so anyways, here's our hinge. So what I did was I cut, now my pages are 5.5 tall, okay? The pages are 5.5. So I cut my paper at 5 3/8. Okay, and I went ahead and left it at 12. I'm not going to use all of the 12, but I did leave it at 12. So I start at 1 1/4 score, and I'm going to count over 3. I'm going to count over 3 more. I'm going to count over 3 more. So we're making 3/8 spaces. Because I found with this book, the 1/2 inch was just too much. Because with this one, you're not using a whole lot of embellishments on your pages. And if you do, it's more or less flat embellishments versus bulky ones. So 1, 2, 3. I quit talking here, and I. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So 6 1/8. 6 1/2. 6 7/8. 7 1/4. 7 5/8. And 8. I have to count them now. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I thought I was pretty close. Okay, so then you want to count 3 more over. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to be at 8 3/8. Okay. So we have 6 pages, so I want to make sure I'm going to have 6 hinges. So I've got 1 there, I've got 2 there, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me go ahead and bring this up here and get my score tape. Because they're only 3/8 inches, I am using my 1/4 score tape. So what I'm doing is I turned it over, and I'm going to skip the first 2 3/8 scores, add tape to my third one, skip 2, add tape to my third one, skip 2, add the tape to my third one. Now, everybody has their own way of doing your hinges. This is the easiest way for me. So I'm going to skip 2, and I'm adding to my third one. Skip 2 more, add to my third one. Skip 2 more and add to my third one. So I should have 6 pieces of the tape, which I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means I have 6 hinges. All right. So let me clean off the excess because I was not careful with making sure I just came to the edge. Finish this. I'm going to start on this one here. Actually, no. Yeah, this is the one I want to start on. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, and then my tape. So I want to fold the second score over. And then I'm going to fold this one back. And that's our first hinge. Right there. Okay. Take the tape off the next one. Fold that over. Fold the one back. And there's your second hinge. One, two. Okay. Third hinge. Fourth hinge. All right. One over. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, if you can see, I'll try to bring it up. So if you can see, I have a 3/8 of a score here, and I've got 3/8 over here, and that is what I use on my side for my when I apply my hinge. So what I want to do is I'm going to add tape to that 3/8 on this side. Now this is my 1 1/4 side, because I already know I'm going to have to cut this side down because it's definitely too long. So I'm going to add my tape. Move it. And then I'm going to well, I was going to, and it just okay. So I want to fold, lay this down. So I want to fold my 4th over like that, and then this is going to cover that. So as you can see there, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hinges, and then I've got my 3/8 of a space here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. I'm going to go ahead and fold this in. And that's what I should have done with the other one, is burnish it down before I started adding tape to it. Alright. So I'm going to add my tape to this one. Now, I'm going to add tape to each one of these folded folds here. And then I'm going to add my tape here. And doing it this way, this just gives you double strength reinforcement here, and I like that one on my hinges. So, alright, so. All right. Get those out of my way. So now I'm going to take it this way. That's my 1/3 of an edge right there. And I'm going to make sure I lay it down and matches the corners. Alright, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to burnish it down. Make sure that they're all stuck. And when I'm doing this with the hinges, I am making them a little bit more pliable by bending them back and forth, and that's what I like. Okay, so I have this much too much, so I'm just going to take my scissors and cut along the edge. Ta-da, and I'm done. Okay, I still haven't found my Tim Holtz scissors from the retreat. I know I've got them. I just don't know what I do with them. Okay, so this measures about 2 3/4. So that's the size of the spine, all right, that you're going to want to make out of chipboard. And I already pre-cut my chipboard. Sorry about that. I stuck things on top of my computer and kind of turned off the computer when it was going. So I'm hoping I got everything. I don't know where I lost you, but I think I lost you right here at the end. So this hinge measures 2 3/4. So, and I said, what I was saying when I so roughly cut us off was I went ahead and cut my chipboard already. So, let me get it out. So I've cut one piece at 2 3/4 by 6. And that's not right. By 5 1/2. No, by 6. I'm right. Oh my gosh. That's right, because I added 5. So I wanted 2 pieces of chipboard, 6 1/2 by 6. And your length of your album is going to be 6 inches. Your width is going to be 6 1/2. You're going to have, your spine is going to be 2 3/4 by 6 inches. So that's what my chipboard is. So let me move this, and let me go ahead and get the paper out. And before I move that, I need to cut my paper. So I said my book was going to be 6 inches tall, so I'm going to cut my paper at 8 inches. I'm going to add an inch for each side, and I cut mine ahead of time. So I've got 2 sheets of paper, and I'm just going to cut it right there at 8. Throw that over there. I'm going to add these together. And before I do that, I got one other little trick that I do, and I tend to forget. I do it when I normally just do it on my own. For some reason, when I'm recording, I always tend to forget to do it. So what I do is, I know Tamara uses her ruler, and I do have the ruler. Just, I can't get it. It slips on me. So I just go ahead, and I take my paper, and I score it at 1 inch. So that way, I know that is my guideline for when I lay my chipboard down. So, put this right here. I'm going to burnish that down real good. I'm going to flip this over real quick. Pull my tape off. Alright. And then I'm going to turn this because it's just going to be easier for me. And I just kind of match it up. and hope I get it on straight. And I didn't. I didn't. Not at all. Let's see if I can do this again. Start at this end, maybe now. There. Alright, I did not cut my paper correct. One side is definitely longer than the other, but I wanted to match up the score lines, and that was what was important. So, okay, so now I have been using my score tape, but for this, I'm going to go ahead and grab my sheets, because it's just so much easier. And I apologize. Luckily, they're right here next to me in my drawer, but I should have had these out before I started filming, and I do apologize. Okay, so we're going to cut these now. Like I said, my books are 6 by 6.5, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this at, I'm going to put it at 5 7/8. Cut it across, and then I want to put this at 6.5, so it's going to go 6 5/8. No, 6 3/8. I'm sorry. All right. There's one, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the other one too. So I said 5 5/8. And then this one's going to be 6 3/8. And then I've got the extras for my spine. So let me bring these over. That one on. That one on. And I'm just going to add, yeah, there. All right. So I'm going to put this in the middle, and that's going to leave my spines this way. Okay. So let's go ahead and remove this one. And yes, I do have extra paper that I'm just going to cut off, but to me it's just easier to do it this way. I can always use the paper as scraps, and even if it has the fold, the score line on it, that's okay. So I'm just going to just going to line it up with the score line that I have down there. Okay. And by cutting it that 1/8 less, it allows me to pull that right off of there. Okay, now remember, this is 6, so you want to make sure that you're going 6 by 6.5. 6.5 is your width, so I'm going to line this one up here. Okay. And again, lining it up. So definitely have too much on the side, which is very easy to take care of, because then I just come over here and I put my chipboard at my 1 inch, line it up with my 1 inch mark, Oops, wipe that off. That's some extra scraps that I will use somewhere along the line. And it's okay, like I said, that it has a little bit of score mark on there. But to me, that's the easiest way to do it. And it's trying to measure, okay, I want, you know, X amount of space. I need an extra inch. So this is 6.5. That's 7.5. Then I got to add 1/4 of an inch here. But then I've got this down the middle. So, you know, to me, it's just easier. So that's how I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my score tape. And I do similar to Tamara. I just found that her techniques, I have picked up quite a few little tips from her that I just think make a world of difference. So I basically do mine like she does. Not that I, you know, like I said, I'm sure everybody has their own ways, but this is how I learn. And then, like I said, I'm picking up tips from off of watching Tammy's tutorials. So, now there is one thing I do different here. I only put my score tape to the edge of my chipboard. I don't put it all the way to the edges. So I don't want to waste it. I don't know. To me, you're going to see I'm going to waste a little bit, but nothing like if I took it to the edges. So, and that's just how I do it. Doesn't mean that it's right or it's wrong. It's just the way I do it. So, and that is, this one did come out a little bit longer. Remember I told you I cut it long. So I'm just going to trim it here. Because I did line my, I thought I was going to trim it. Maybe if I turn it this way it'll be easier. Sure is. Okay. Alright, so let's fold your makes it nice when it's already scored. So in order to make sure that this one is just as neat as the other one, kind of make my own little score with my bone folder, and I come up here so it's nice and neat. Okay, now let's do, whoops, sorry, hit that. Okay, and that's going to give me my 4 corners here on the side. So I'm going to just come in and see, by me not going to all the way in to the edges, I'm just wasting a little bit of score tape. And to me, that makes me feel good. I don't like to waste. So, and again, just a little bit. And all I'm doing is just cutting right to the chipboard. I am angling it a little bit. I personally like the angle look versus just the straight 4 corners, so I do angle mine in a little bit. Okay, so very little waste on my score tape. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bead of glue all along the side of my chipboard. And what's that going to do is that's going to help soften my cardstock and help bend it over and here a lot nicer, smoother, and make my edges a lot smoother. And yes, I do all 4 corners at one time. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to dry on me real quick because you don't really have to play around. You just want to come in. You can take this tape off prior to you doing your glue. It's just whatever I feel like doing. Sometimes I'll take all my tape off, then I'll add all my glue. Or I'm doing it the way I'm doing it right now, and that's okay because it's still going to be wet because I put a good little bead of glue on all along the edge of the chipboard. Okay, so let's fold this up. And as you can see, It's really helping where I added those two pieces of paper together. It makes it really nice. Here's the other side. And I really don't know, by me using my bone folder against the edge like that, if I'm really smoothing out the glue, because I don't really use but a small bead, but I found that my edges look so much nicer and so much cleaner by doing that. Now I'm going to go back and see my slanting these a little bit. I've covered the tips, but yet I just don't have that excess hanging over. So, all right, look at that. There's our album base cover shell of our album. So let's get some black paper. Let's cover the inside. So I've got a 6.5 inch, 6 inch. So I'm going to go 5 5/8. I'm going to bring it down. I want it to cover pretty much all of it. Give me room. I mean, I could go even less, but I personally like it to come all the way over. So, and look at that. I don't really need all of the next sheet. And this took one sheet because I cut it at 5 5/8. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to, where's my pen? I lost all my pencils. Having a 5-year-old in the house, she has a tendency to think those are all her pencils. So, okay, I'm going to cut that one right there. And I'm also going to cut this one a little bit too. I personally like to have it overlay on each other over on the spine, and that way I know that I have good coverage. So just cut that there, and again, another great piece for scraps. If I want to, and I know I did I? Yes, I did. Don't know what happened to my white pencil either, my white leaded pencil. We always used to use that on my black cardstock. But, like again, things disappear, especially when you have a little girl that lives with you that loves to craft and things. Everything that Grandma has is hers too, so kind of hard to keep a hold of stuff. So I don't use glue on my album at all. The only part I use is, like I showed you already, around the edges before I fold over my cardstock. Everything else on my album is score tape, and it's just my personal preference. I have issues in the past using glue, so I just don't use them anymore. I like my score tape on my albums. I think it's a cleaner, fuller hold, and easier for me to work with in the long run. So, and I do long ways with the score tape, and I'll show you why. A little trick I learned, and I'm pretty sure I learned it from Tamra. Or I could have learned it from watching another video, but I think it was pretty much Tamra that taught me this, because I used to not realize, but when I lay it this way, when I go across with my tape this way, this little valley here that's got my sticky tape in here, if I go put this way, it catches right in there. So it works. If I had it this way, I may not get that in there. And so I want the paper to be able to go right in there very neat. Alright, so what I do is I pull off my 3 inner tapes. Bring this book over here so you can see it. And I line it up where I want it. Top and bottom. Then now I'm doing is just slightly lifting up the corner. Hasn't really laid flat down on there. And then I'm going to take this and burnish it down. Pull that off, pull that off. Okay, let's do the other side. And if you see, I kind of got the tape over on that edge. I thought I did, but I'm busy talking and didn't stop and fix it, so I can fix it, and I'll show you how. So it's on this one. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off a bit before I lay it down. And all I'm going to do is take my fingers and push that tape back over. Okay? Oh, there's another one right there. Okay, so I'm going to put this, line this up. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to cut this one down to 5/8. Oh, it's alright. We can fix it. We can fix it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Get busy talking and I messed up, so. Okay, so this one, because I knew it was over 6, so I'm going to cut this one down. See? Works. Alright. Now, whoops. Tell you, if you could see my desk, you would think, how in the world are you even crafting with that messy desk? I mean, I got everything on here. Alright, so we'll lay this down now. Try this again. Get the wrinkles out. Alright, perfect. Kind of smooth out those wrinkles from where I ripped it back up. Okay. Come over here and set this one off before I pull the other ones off. Do that. And I'm not pushing real hard on these. I'm just very gently just kind of working them in. I do use my rounded part of my bone folder on this one, but I also use, it's just a highlighter, and I And as I bring it up and smooth it in, bring it up, smooth it in. There you go. Okay. Now, I don't normally paper that, so I'm not going to. I usually leave it black. So I can add my hinge. Oh, right here it is. I had some extras. I'm doing bad tonight about not measuring stuff. Yeah, it is 6. I'm thinking. All right. I'm going to go ahead and... I didn't think it was... I thought it was longer. I don't know what... That's all right. We can fix that. I did it on both sides like that. That little sliver I won't keep. I will toss that. This one I'm going to use, because I do have a side over here that I can put it on. And then I can add this right here and very little. So I'm not wasting a lot of my score tape. Okay. Now center this. So I got 1, 2, 3, and there's my 6 hinges. Okay. Simple as pie. I mean, this really is a quick album. I think the longest part is trying to figure out what papers I wanted on each page. And then I don't put my pages in until I finish decorating them, but I will show you what this looks like. I always put the seams down on the bottom. And there's something there. So there's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Oops. Come up on me. And 6. There you go. And you can use, I'm going to use ribbon on mine for closure. Seam binding on it, I think. So, and then I'll have it up there on my little stand. So, all right, let's go ahead and start decorating. I'm not going to do that as a tutorial because everybody does their own decorating, but you can see how I decorate when I do my walkthrough with the completed albums. And I will, like I said, I will have 4 albums. One for springtime, summer, autumn, and winter. So thanks for watching, and if you try this tutorial which is a fun, quick, and easy tutorial, please be sure to share with us. I would love to see what you do with the tutorial. Everybody has their own takes and vision with a tutorial or with a piece of paper, and so I love it when people share what they've done compared to what I do. And I love to learn from others, and I have learned a lot from other people when they have used my tutorial. So, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.